self-mastery. And what does that mean? The most important thing you could know in your life. Self-mastery means the ability to regulate your inner world, your thoughts, your speech, and through that, to regulate your outer world, your actions as well. Because most people are slaves to the external world. Get our happiness from things going our way, sense of self from what people think about us. And therefore we start chasing the external world. But really, the key to living a healthy life of joy and well-being is to start to regulate your internal. The most important thing I learned on my journey. I lived in Asia for 6 years doing martial arts. I got a black belt in Taekwondo and a brown belt in Aikido. And I did lots of 10-day silent meditation retreats. Complete silence for 10 days. No reading, no writing, no listening to music, no phones, no TVs, no distractions. And we just did breath meditation, breathing in and out. Why is this so important? Because, and I think this is the most important thing you could ever hear, your whole experience of life is completely dictated by what's going on in your mind. I'll say that again in a different way. Your thoughts create your reality. If you're having sweet, uplifting, compassionate, non-judgmental, empowered thoughts, you're going to have a really good life. It's the soundtrack to your life. If you're having anxious, jealous, fearful, angry, hateful thoughts, you're not going to have a good life. So we need to actually learn to calm and control our mind, and then we need to learn to start having the type of thoughts that are actually going to give us the life that we want to have. That's it. Very, very simple. So in case you haven't noticed, you have a voice in your head. And it starts from the second you wake up in the morning. You wake up in the morning, immediately as you wake up, voice wakes up. Can't believe you did that last night. What do people think of you? You've got so much to do today. There's so much pressure. It's so difficult. And you've got another voice in your head, hopefully a bit more positive, is like, come on, you can do it. Get out of bed. You've got another voice in your head who's like, your father's voice. He was never proud of you. So you've got like, I'll show my father. Then you've got your ex-boyfriend's voice in your head and your girlfriend's voice. You've got a lot of voices. You've got your teacher's voice in your head. You've got many, many, many voices in your head. And those voices are your soundtrack and they create your experience of life. And in general, your thoughts create your emotions. So if you think about the happiest day of your life, you'll feel happy. If you think about something that makes you angry, then you'll feel angry. If I insult you today and you get very angry, very upset, and then 3 days later, I go away, 3 days later, you start thinking about what I did and the insult, then you feel angry again because those thoughts create those emotions. And by the way, once you have emotions, you feel negative and down, then those emotions create less high quality thoughts. It's a feedback loop. Sometimes it starts with emotions. You just feel some inner emotion, some memory, and that creates your thoughts. But basically we have this loop between thoughts and emotion. And your emotions are how you're experiencing life, how you feel. I feel happy. I feel calm. I feel anxious. I feel frustrated. So we really, really need to work on sorting out this inner world. And there are two things you can do with that voice in your head. You can either smoke weed and watch Netflix. That doesn't work in the long run. Or you can master them. You can start choosing. Like, who's choosing what's going on in your mind? Who's setting that voice? Who's choosing that voice? So some people say, me. And I'm like, oh, really? So why do you keep thinking about your ex-boyfriend sleeping with your best friend? If you were really in control of that voice in your head, you wouldn't spend all day worrying about this and anxious about it. No one would control. No one would choose to have those thoughts in your head. How much of what you are thinking about are you consciously choosing to think about those things? For most people, it's not very much. It's just what's being played in their heads. And then they listen to it. And then that creates their sense of self and their happiness and their actions and everything that creates our world. So we need to work out how to deal with this in a healthy way. And you deal with thoughts and emotions in very, very different ways.